Hello friends, welcome. Friends, on 27 December 2024, RBI released the balance of payment document for the second quarter of the current financial year, which is 2024-25, right? Earlier the number was available till June. Now we have the numbers, forward numbers for the month of September, till the month of September. Now friends, this document, the balance of payment document, is a pretty important document. Why it is important? Because it actually gives us the cross-border flow of currencies on account of trade and investment. What kind of investment India is making in other countries and what investment other countries are making in India, and what kind of trade activities is going on between India and other countries. Now, this document is a document which is monitored by everybody, policymakers, investors who is trying to make investment in India, and it has a direct bearing on India's foreign exchange reserve and also impacts the value of rupee and dollar. Today, you might have seen and might be observing for for last month, the rupee has been depreciating big time. And one of the main reason is because of the balance of payment situation as far as India is concerned, where because of the currency exchange flow across border, the demand for one currency increases versus the other because of imbalances in flow of goods and services and investment. Now, this document has been summarized here in this page by RBI. Now, you can go through this and you can read for yourself, which is very, very easy to do because it is all there in their homepage, right? So, friends, what I have done is I have aggregated this whole information in a dashboard and I have posted this in my website. Now, if you look at this, let me just zoom out a bit and you will see that this page looks something like this. This is how it looks. So there are two different dashboards linked with each other. So if you want to go to the current account, so there are two balance of payment document consists of capital account and current account. So what I have done is I have created a heat map for current account. This is the current account statement. And if you want to go to capital account, you simply have to click here and you can go to capital account. Now looks very busy, right? This chart looks very, very busy, but you will be able to see that how easy and how intuitive is to go through this chart and use this chart. And let me explain and let me zoom in a little bit so that the things become very visible and clear. Now, as I told you, there are two different accounts, the current account as well as capital account. So let's go and focus on the current account. Now, this is a heat map that you see here, but there is also a bar chart which is on top of this heat map, right? So if you click on any of the items of the heat map, the bar chart of the corresponding item is going to get displayed and you will be able to see the trend. That's how I have structured this dashboard. So it becomes very easy to investigate. You can see the heat map as well as you can see the bar chart. So let's look at the current account first. So when I click at the current account, you can see the trend, the quarter trend of current account, and you will see that the current account, it has been stable, but it actually went very, very bad in FY23 Q2, right? And then over a period of time, it kind of stabilized. And now it is actually at minus $11.16 billion in the second quarter of FY25. Now, interestingly, you will find that the current account, India's current account position is kind of getting negatively impacted because of our imbalances in goods trade. Because we have not been able to contain the imbalance in goods trade, and that is one of the major reasons that we are actually facing a problem of our BOP statement. Otherwise, the BOP statement would have been far better. But the negativity as far as our balance of payment on account of goods is somehow getting compensated by service. Because services we are doing pretty good. So let's go step by step, rather than, jumping before, putting the horse before the cart. Let's go step by step and let's investigate this. So the current account consists of what? Current account consists of goods and services, which is 1A. You can see 1A, 1B, 1C. And before I go individually, let's break this into pieces and I show you where these items are located in the dashboard. So first item is 1A, goods. right here. Second item is 1B. 1B is here, primary income, and then we have got 1C here, right? So these are the three different parts of the current account, the major, you can say major category items. Now, goods and services account has been broken down into two different parts. One is goods, another is service, right? So it is 1AA and 1AB, right? So let's first investigate the first part of the current account, which is goods and services, 1AA, 1AB, right? So when you click on goods, what you see? You can see that there is a downward, fall as far as the imbalance, as far as the goods trade is concerned. You can clearly see that in FY 23-22 Q3 we had a trade imbalance on account of goods of $59.75 billion. Now in the last quarter, which is FY 25 Q2, the imbalances have increases to $75.32 billion. There is a significant downward, you can say the downward fall as far as the imbalance on account of goods trade is concerned. So this goods trade, right? Now let's look at the service trade. So if I click here, you'll see the service trade. Now you can clearly see that on account of services, we actually are showing a growth. You can see that, right? So this is significant change from $27.81 billion in FY 22 Q3. Now we are almost, you can say that 1.5 times for $44.55 billion in FY 25 Q2. So on services account, we are doing pretty good, and therefore all the negativity in account of imbalances that we are able to see in goods on goods somehow getting compensated. So the overall BOP on account of goods and services is kind of stable, but it has deteriorated a little bit in the last quarter. We have got $30.77 billion, which is kind of very, very high. And it is higher compared to the last few quarters. You can see this, right? So this is one part of the statement. Then we come to the primary income. Now the primary income, if you see here, if I click here on the primary income, you'll find that it is kind of going up and down, and the primary income part actually has somehow stabilized, though it is negative. So what is the primary income consist of? So these are the line items, right? You can see here. It is mainly on account of cross-border investment, the income that is getting generated. It is starting with compensation for employees. So you are basically paying for employees compensation. So if you are if the money comes inside the country, then it becomes positive. If it is going outside the country, it is negative. So you can see that this is positive. And the trend you can very clearly see here. It is basically the money is flowing inside the country, and therefore it is positive, right? Investment income means India might have made some investment outside. Foreigners made investment inside. So the income that is getting generated on account of investment is this line item, investment income. And you can clearly see the trend that investment income is like going up and down. But in the last quarter, in FY 23 Q2, it is kind of has reduced, which basically means that the foreigners are taking less income from India, because when it is negative, it means that the income is flowing out of India, right? So that's the investment income. And investment income has been broken down into various other items, direct investment, portfolio investment, because there are different type of investments are there on which the income is generated, and there are other investment, and one of the major investment is reserve asset. Now this is very, very important, very interesting, because this is what Reserve Bank is making its investment outside, and the income that is getting generated on account of this investment is this line item. And let's look at the trend of this line item, which is very interesting. Now you can see that our reserve asset is generating a lot of wealth because what RBI is doing is making investment of our assets outside India, and in the last quarter we have generated $8.65 billion, right, on account of reserve asset, which is very interesting, and that has helped our BOP significantly. Then we have the 1C item, which is the secondary income, right? So this is important. Secondary income, you can see here that we have got, if you see here that we have got current account, We have got 1A, 1B, 1C, and here we are talking about 1C, secondary income, right? That's why I have clicked on this particular item and we can see the trend. Now, secondary income is increasing, which is very, very interesting and important. And why it is increasing is because of one important item, which is workers' remittance, which is not shown here. Some of the items are shown. It is all clubbed with here because this has been clubbed right on this item, which is 1C, 11 personal transfer current account. This is the item, right? And this item means that workers who are working, the Indians who are working outside India, they are bringing this wealth transfer of money to India. And that is why this, our BOP situation, if you really see that, and I forgot to mention to you that on services, telecommunication, computer and information services is one of the most important item of service. And if you compare this with our remittance income, you will find that they are kind of very close. They are not absolutely close, but they are very close. You can see that if you add up the remittance income, let me just do a yearly time scale. That will give a very good idea. So you can see that India is making a remittance income of roughly around 100 to 108 billion dollars. And how much we are basically earning through our telecommunication services? It is around 132 to 142 billion dollars in last financial year, which is financial year FY24. Our services income on account of telecommunication, computer information services has been very, very high. If you look at this services income, here we will find that $142.68 billion out of $162.75 billion, $142.68 billion in on account of services, and the remittance income has been very, very significant, which is the reason why we are doing so well. But look at this on goods, it's all red. So bad. See, our on account of goods, we have done very bad. In spite of all the PLI policy, everything, our trade balance on account of goods have gone. We are going higher and higher and higher. And because of this item, our BOP situation is not improving as it should be, right? And that's why rupee is depreciating. Because of the major reason is goods, trade imbalance on account of goods, right? So this is the current account. Now let's go to the capital account, right? So let's do the quarter time scale and let's go to the capital account. So let me just zoom out a little bit and I'll just zoom, just a minute, zoom out a little bit to go to the capital account. So when I click capital account, reason I'm zooming out is just to show you, give you a flavor that how many items are there, and then I will zoom in and go one by one. Now, in case of capital account, you will find that it's not a very big item. There are only two items here, and let me just zoom in. You will find that we have got capital account here, the two items, and these are very, very insignificant, not very, very large. But there is one more account, right, which makes up the BOP statement, which is the financial account, right, which is item number 3, right. So again, let me just go to the main page, and if you see our overall, so we have got, let's just summarize. We have got current account here, and then when I go to capital account and other account, we have got capital account here, and then we have the financial account here. And let me just zoom out a bit, and then you will see that financial account is, and then we have the total asset and liabilities account. And all adds up to 0. That is why it's called balance of payment, right? So this, let me just summarize again. Current account, capital account, financial account, and the total asset and liabilities. If you add everything, it should be 0. Okay? That's how the BOP statement is read. That's why it is called balance of payment, right? Now, let's look at the financial account, which is very, very interesting and important. So let me just zoom in, and let's look at the financial account. Now, if I do a trend analysis on financial account, you will find that on account of financial account, it is kind of reasonably stable for a couple of quarters. And for the last quarter, we have done $11.88 billion. Now, what is this financial account made of, right? So let's zoom out a little bit so that everything falls in the screen. The financial account is made of items from 3.1 to 3.5. 3.1 is direct investment. Direct investment is the investment which is made in India, not portfolio, not stock market investment. So this is the item. So let's look at direct investment and see how the direct investment we are not doing very good in direct investment, because in the last quarter we lost $2.24 billion in direct investment, and this direct investment is two items: the investment in India and investment by India. So if you look at investment in India, let's look at investment in India, because the investment in India has been decreasing over a period of time. See, it is decreasing. Whereas investment by India, so if you look at the portfolio investment in direct investment by India, means India is making investment outside, which is also decreasing, and it is now in the negative thing. Means India is pulling out investment from outside and bringing it into India, right? So both this adds to investment, direct investment in, which is investment by India, investment into India, right? Then we have got the other item, which is called portfolio investment. And this is pretty interesting and important. Portfolio investment is what? Investment in the stock market. Now here you will find the portfolio investment trend has been significantly better compared to direct investment. We have done roughly around $20 billion in the last quarter, which is FY 2025 Q2. Now here there are portfolio investment, also investment in India and investment by India. Investment in India is we are doing better, and if I try investment by India, and you will find that here we virtually have not done much investment, right? So it's almost zero, right? Then after that items come, we have done portfolio investment. Now item 3.3, which is financial derivative other than reserve. So in financial derivative there is nothing much to talk about, so we can just leave that item. So this is basically employee stock option, financial derivative other than reserve, and employee stock option. So that is the item here. And other investment basically consist of these. This is also interesting. Why it is interesting? Because in other investment these are the items. Let's talk about the other investment. Because in this particular part we have done reasonably well, not bad. And why? Because there is a major portion here which I would like to point out here, which actually forms under the bracket of other investment, which is the NRI deposit and currency deposit. See, if you look at NRI deposit, which is $6.17 billion in FY 25 Q2, which because NRIs are depositing money in India, so this is one important aspect of this particular bucketed item which we spoke about, which is the other investment, right? And then in this other investment there is one more item which is called currency and deposit. So there is one more item that these two items put together is making up this particular item, right? And then we have loans made to India. There is external assistance and external commercial borrowing. This is important. External, because India has been borrowing from outside. Indian industry has been borrowing as external commercial borrowing. So if I basically do this, if you see the trend here, you will find that the trend actually, as far as ECB is concerned, is going down, right? It is not going up, it is going down, right? So that's all, and then all this translates into the reserve asset, because this balance of payment, whatever money gets accumulated, and if it is negative, means it impacts the foreign exchange in a positive manner. So this is how you should have to read it. So whenever there is a positive as far as reserve asset is concerned, let's look at the reserve asset item. So you'll find that if in case of FY 23 Q2, this was $30.38 billion positive, means foreign exchange reserve got depleted by this amount. So if it is negative, means there is an accumulation of foreign exchange. So in FY 25 Q2, there has been an accumulation of foreign exchange of the amount of $18.61 billion. And actually this is reflected in the RBI statement also. You will see this particular part which says $59.4 billion, which is a significant amount. It says increase in reserve and decrease in reserve. Positive means increase in reserve. So here this $18.5 billion, which I showed you here in this here, $18.61 billion, if you add to the other item, which is the valuation change of $35.5 billion, it will translate to $59.4 billion. Now, that's why I wanted to give you this insight. What is this valuation change? This valuation change is change of value of gold and other foreign currency asset we are holding in terms of dollar, because everything we are doing in US dollar, right? So there has been a positive change of value of our asset, which includes monetary gold, and that actually adds up to this $59.45 billion. So this is in nutshell, this is basically in nutshell that I wanted to talk about to you friends regarding this, and I hope that you got a fair idea about BOP. And let me know what what you feel about this, and if you have any comments, you can put in the comment section, and I'll come back with a new video next time. Thank you very much for your time and listening till the end. Thank you very much.